Welcome to this Flex Rental Solutions webinar. Today we're going to be going over the dashboard functionality recently released in Flex. If we go to Menu, Dashboards, we have 3 new dashboards that we have added into Flex. The areas are ROI, out-of-commission logistics, and scanning logistics. ROI is a way to calculate revenue based on either past due information or even future information. So the different areas that you can configure here are a date range. We have some run it for today, last 7 days, last 30 days, all the way up to this year and last year. And we can also add some custom fields in there to put custom dates. In the element definition, we made this a little bit more flexible where we can look at different element types. In the past, this was very much dependent upon a invoice-only mentality. We would only recognize revenue from invoicing. We have some customers who might only do invoicing out of their accounting functionality, such as QuickBooks, and don't use invoicing in Flex, and they lost that ability to look at revenue. Other times we're looking at projected revenue and wanting to look at that in comparison to purchase costs to see whether we should purchase an item, and those elements would typically be only found in quoting. And so with this drop down, you can select what element you want to run it off of and what statuses to apply. So let's look at the different functionality between those two as we get into this. And then we also get into the inventory group functionality where we can set it up which group we want to look at. In the layout, we have these top 5 what we call highlight tiles. This will show you your total profit for all groups, your total revenue for groups. Currently, we are showing maintenance costs that you have run for different inventory items. And so revenue minus cost would equal profit. Average cost recovered will take the purchase cost of your items and divide that by the revenue that you received. We are also showing here the highest grossing inventory model of all groups. So in this example, even though I've selected video LED to show that revenue, it is just going to highlight and call out that your Digico S21s are the highest grossing inventory model. In the inventory groups, when we look at these, if we select a root folder, it will show you all the subfolders that have revenue and the different revenue items and percentage in this pie chart accordingly. We'll show you the cost recovered and the profit, which is the difference. If we drill down and go into mixers as an example, we've got 3 subfolders here. This will show you, I want to go one more down. This will show you revenue in this area for subfolders that have revenue in it. If there are folders that do not have any revenue, they are automatically hidden in the pie charts. So breakout mixers don't have any data to show, and so we don't show that. We can also drill down into folders that just have inventory models. So in this example, if we go down into digital, now we're looking at all of our revenue for audio mixers digital, and now we're showing the models that are inside of it. What you're showing here is the green is typically the highest revenue, highest cost, or highest profit. And so in here, you may have different items categorized differently. It's just the green represents the highest of that category. We can spin this around to see different areas, and we can also turn information off or hide it by clicking on that also. So the difference between looking at invoicing, let's look at LED for this quarter. We can look at that information here, and this is looking at invoices during this date range, and we selected all statuses. Now, if I'm doing some jobs that are coming up in the near future and I'm trying to figure out, should I buy or should I subrent, I probably haven't made any invoices off of those elements that are projected to happen. So in this example, I'm going to look at quotes. Now, I don't want to look at all statuses because I don't care if something's canceled or inquiry. I don't want to look at that potential revenue. So I could select confirmed, if it's ready to invoice, invoice created, invoice, things like that. But I don't want to include tentative or inquiry as an example, maybe if it's exported. So we're going to look at quotes with these specific statuses selected. And so now I can see this is projected revenue. And let's look at between now and let's say between today, and let's look through the end of the summer, maybe through August 31st. So now we've got a lot of different jobs happening, and we've got $375,000 worth of revenue of quotes that are confirmed, exported, invoice created, invoiced, or ready to invoice. And so that could give me some really good information. Hey, should I subrent these? Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe we take this revenue and we buy 100 more tiles, things like that. This just gives us more flexibility to look at future dates, quotes under different statuses, compared to how did we do this last year in invoices of all states. Very different data and revenue that we can help us make more actionable decisions with. On out of commission logistics, what this is looking at is all your out of commission records that were either created or cleared. We can, if you've got multiple locations, you can look at all locations or per warehouse. And then we can look at this for specific inventory groups. So based on all these items, let me look at maybe a different group. Here we go. Okay, so currently we have 86 items that are currently out of commission. This is less than 1% of all of our inventory is out of commission. The D&B J8s have the most items currently out of commission. And the other interesting data that I like is how long has it taken us to resolve your average items during this time period, and then how many were created in this date range and how many were resolved. So 10 were marked as broken during this time period, 4 were resolved. This graph here shows us all unresolved. So in here, as we've had more and more created, that red line has gone up. And then the left side shows the amount that were created or resolved per month, or however it's broken up. And these are your items with the most currently active out of commission. Finally, the scanning logistics, I'm going to do this year, and that data will show you most scanned items, who's the top scanner during this time period, time we've lost because we didn't scan through barcodes, and time we've saved because we did use RFID on specific scans. So let's go in here and look at video, and let's look at LED tiles. With this data in here, now we're looking at the video tiles for our scan activity during this time range. Anything in the blue will show you total scans using RFID. Anything in green will show total scans with barcode scans. And we can also see top scanned of your video wall by people. So what we're getting here is during this time frame, we've taken a slight calculation of doing the total scans per type and multiplying that. We've taken an average of 2 point something seconds that you save using RFID. So in this time, we've saved that amount based on using RFID, but based on the number of barcode scans, the time we've lost by continuing to use barcode scanning. So it's just data that helps you show that information. And again, the top is the highlight tiles. The bottom is the data based on the specific groups. And the top is all inventory groups.